Hey guys, I'll give all of you a couple of minutes to get in, and then I'll start my story time. I hope everybody's doing okay and feeling well, and nobody's sick or got the funk or the flu or whatever crap is going around now. Uh, Hi Sherry, hi Walter. I don't look that great today. I did look a little better earlier, but I waited too long, and the freshness of my makeup wore off, and now it's just kind of settled into my old lady lines. So, but anyway, hi Brian. Oh, thank you, Sherry. Uh, Hi Judy. Hi Judy. I love you. Um. Uh. It's cold out there. It was 45 today. That's nice compared to what I was dealing with the other night, taking the dog out in the freezing weather and him deciding that he wanted. I got almost back to the door with him and he decided he was going to turn around and run back. He saw something or smelled something. Well, we have kittens. Had kittens under the porch. I don't know. I haven't seen them lately, but we had kittens under the porch. But anyway, uh, I asked Barry last night what I said. I needed to do a video because I haven't done one in a while, and I can't really think of anything to talk about. And so I like to, I want to make you guys laugh and cheer everybody up and make everybody smile. So he said, well, tell them stories about Danny, which was this elderly man that I knew years and years ago. He passed away a couple of years ago, and he was just really, really, really interesting man. He had had several strokes, and he didn't have a lot of. He didn't have. He had short-term memory loss, and he'd had several heart attacks too, and he had high blood pressure, and he looked like a Buddha. People always walking up, rubbing his belly. Well, he had this habit of goosing people, and he would he'd poke you and beep beep, just drove me nuts. Oh, that drove me crazy. And I said, Danny, quit. Because he'd do it when I was driving. Because he didn't drive, so I would pick him up and we'd give him rides to where we were going. And I won't tell you his last name, so I can tell you he was in AA. And he's passed away, and he didn't care for anybody knowing his name, but I would pick him up and take him to meetings. If his mother, if she wasn't feeling up to it or whatever. Because he lived with his mother because he'd had so many heart attacks he couldn't take care of himself. And so, and she had him on these diets, and he was not allowed. Of course, his doctor had him on diets too. His cholesterol was through the roof, his high blood pressure, and all this and that and everything. And so he was not supposed to have any kind of fried foods or junk food or anything, anything like that. So he'd call me and he'd say, hey, Terry. I said, what, Danny? What do we need? Can you run by B-Rite and pick me up some? I'm sorry, y'all. He'd say, can you pick me up some fried chicken and some potato wedges and stick them in my mailbox and then honk the horn twice when you drive away so I know they're out there. So it'd be the middle of the night. Sometimes I'd be out there in Greenfield, with one of those, those bags with the aluminum type inside, the foil bags that the chicken from B-Rite came in, and I'd be out there with a bag of chicken and tater babies or tater logs, sticking them in his mailbox and honking my horn and driving away. I'm sorry. telling you. And so, so he did. It wasn't just me. He had other people doing it too. I wasn't his only chicken dealer. He had other people that would that would bring chicken and stick it in the mailbox. Bless his heart. God love him. He loved his fried chicken from B-Rite. And he'd be standing out there with a cigarette in one hand and a piece of chicken in the other. And one time as I pulled away, I turned and looked back, and he had a chicken leg in each hand. And it was just, that man was a hot mess when it came to B-Rite chicken and tater logs. Well, so he had another heart attack, and I felt responsible. I felt terrible. He was in the hospital in Martin, and that's when I was in college, and I was going to school in Martin. And I went to a 10:30 meeting in Milan. And when I got home, Danny had a heart attack the day before, and we were all real worried about him. So I got I got home from the 10:30 meeting at about 11 o'clock. Well, no, it was about 12:30. 12. It was probably about 12. It might have been the 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock meeting I went to that night, I think. I don't think it was a late meeting. Anyway, whatever it was, when I got home, I had a message on my answering machine from Danny. And it's like scared me to death. I was like, oh my goodness, Danny. Because he sounded panicked, and he was, Terry, please, when you get home, wherever you're at, please call me. I'm still in the ICU, in the cardiac care unit. He was in the cardiac care unit now. And he said, please, when you get home, call me, please. And he just sounded frantic, and I thought, oh my word, he's had another heart attack. I called him, and I said, Danny, what's wrong? He said, listen. I said, what, Danny? What is it? He said, listen, I need you to run down to Tony's and pick me up a pizza with everything on it. And I'll pay you for it, and I'll give you a tip for bringing it to the hospital. And I was like, Danny, they're not going to let you have no pizza with everything on it from Tony's when you're in the cardiac unit. They're not going to let you have it. He said, I already talked to the nurse. She said it was okay. She said it was all right. And I said, if I bring it up there, you give me my money whether they let you have it or not. And he said, nah, just go get it and bring it there. They said it was okay. Now listen, though. If my mama's here, just turn around and go back to your car until she leaves. Well, his mama wasn't there, and I took the pizza. I probably shouldn't have, but I just loved him so much, and I couldn't deny him anything. And so I took the pizza to him, and I met the nurse outside the cardiac unit, and I said, can he really have this, or was he just messing with me? She said, no, here's your money, and here's $10 tip, he said, for bringing it. And I just could not believe that they let him have a pizza in the cardiac unit. But they did. And then he got out of the hospital, and he was doing pretty good. And then, I don't know, a couple of months later, he was back in the hospital. So we went up there to see him. But he called me before. He said, listen. And I was like, okay, I'm listening, Danny, what? He said, I need you to, my mama's up here, so you're going to have to put them in your backpack and smuggle them in here. I need some more boys. It was a potato chip that they had back at that time. This was in probably about 96, and 1996 probably. And it was a brand of potato chip a kind of potato chip called O'Boise's. And he said, I need a bag of O'Boise's and some chicken from B-Rite. I need you to bring me some O'Boise's and some fried chicken from B-Rite. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. He was like, no, I'm not. But bring them in your backpack because Mama's here right now, and I don't know if she'll be gone, and then I don't want to get in trouble. See, his mama she probably would have beat us both senseless. But I took him his fried chicken and his O'Boise's and he, of course, he'd walk around with a 2-liter of, I don't remember if it was diet or regular Mountain Dew, but he'd walk around with a 2-liter, drinking it. He was just, I loved that man beyond words, and I miss him. But I have his stories. I have my Danny stories. He was just absolutely a hot mess. And he'd had like 5 wives, I think. He was just a mess, and he'd just say when it come his turn to talk at a meeting, he'd just say, "I'm Danny, and I'm glad to be here." He was just, I miss him terrible, but I sure do have some funny stories, because I'm telling you, that man was hilarious, and he goosed me more times than I could count. But he was a good person, and a wonderful man, and he just loved that B-Rite chicken. And when Barry said that, I was like, "Yep, that's perfect, a perfect story to tell," because there is nothing sad about B-Rite chicken. And how he always said, "Just listen, 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 listen." They just drove me nuts. But yeah, that's I figured that would be, if anything would make y'all laugh, because it still just cracks me up thinking about it. I can still see him, that big belly, big round Buddha belly, and his beard nice, neat, trimmed. He'd go to the barbershop and get a nice shave, and he was just a really, really neat guy. And so I'm glad I was able to share him with y'all. I hope y'all are all doing well, and I hope you keep doing well. And I guess I'm done. Didn't look like there were very many people watching. I probably should have given y'all more time, and I'm sorry for that. I just had one of those days where things are just a little off. I'm a little off kilter, but I'll be all right. And I'll talk to y'all later. Love y'all.